Oh, these bloody bumps are annoying though when you're on a bike with hard suspension. Good morning, everybody. I want to talk to you today about limit points. It's a more advanced way of checking out how severe your bend is. Reason I've stopped here is because this is the perfect example. I've also got a camera mounted down here as well. I'm going to try and flick between the two cameras to whichever's giving the best picture at the time. The limit point, or the vanishing point, is the furthest part of the road that you can see before it disappears. That's where the nearest verge of our side of the road meets the other side of the road. That's what you call the limit point. The rule applying to the limit point is that you have to make sure you can stop well within the distance you can see to be clear on your side of the road. So, for example, where the near side road meets the far side road and you can't see any further around, you need to be able to stop on your side of the road within this distance you can see clear. On a bend, you need to take into account three things. What can be seen, so there could, for example, be a car coming the other way or a parked car. What cannot be seen could be sheep around the corner, could be a broken down car, could be an oncoming car, and what may reasonably be expected to happen. For example, there might be a car on the wrong side of the road, in which case this stopping your distance you can see to be clear wouldn't necessarily apply. It needs to be then half the distance you can see to be clear. Another way to tell the severity of the bend is to watch a car going round it in front of you. This van, for example, if you watch it now, as it goes round, you can see how severe the bend is by watching the vehicle, whether it brakes or whether it accelerates. Okay, so with the limit point, you need to watch that point. If that arrow or that point comes in towards you, it means that the bend is tightening up. That therefore means that you have to slow down. If the limit point is going away from you, then that means the bend is opening up, and that means that you can start putting a little bit more power on. But don't get misled by these bends, because some people do what we call chasing the limit point. The problem with chasing the limit point is if you're not careful, it could take your attention away from other things that you need to be considering on a bend as well. For example, the condition of the road surface, the weather on the road surface, any other vehicles that may be there, the width of the road, because again, if it's a narrow road, you might get a lorry coming on the other side of the road. So don't just simply rely on the limit point. Take into account other factors as well. See, there's an example of what may reasonably be expected to happen. Out in the countryside, you've got things like horses. So if you're going into that bend too quickly, and that horse is there, you're possibly going to scare the horse, and that could be dangerous. You probably notice that there's loads of cuts in this as well. The reason I'm cutting is because this car's coming by, and I don't like the sound of the car overtaking my voice. Okay, another danger of chasing the limit points. Morning, give me a nod. No, it's one of our pupils. One of the dangers of chasing the limit points is the fact that this could be what we call a double apex bend. So this could be a steady limit point where that stays in the same position, which means that you can keep a constant speed, and you're thinking that's okay, and then all of a sudden, without you realizing it, the limit point comes in because this bend suddenly becomes a tighter bend, and that can be really dangerous. So just because you have a constant limit point in front of you doesn't mean it's not suddenly going to start coming in on you, which means that it's going to be a really tight bend. So let's go and have a play on these bends and see what you think. See, that's coming in quite tight, and also seeing that van coming round at a 90-degree angle to me tells me that this is a very, very tight bend. Right, let's look at the next limit point where the Mini is. Again, the Mini's braking and indicating. Okay. See, that one's tight straight away. The cars are telling me how tight these are, but look at this arrow coming in. Look. And all of a sudden it opens up again. So we've got a left bend coming up here now, and we can tell it's a left bend because there's a house directly in front of us and some hedges. So I'm moving out for a little bit of a view, but this limit point's coming in again, look. Really, really tight. And now it's starting to move away slowly. Right, watching this car, next limit point. You can see it's tight there, and it's coming around on itself, and now it's opening up. So now, if you look at the limit point, you can see that it's quite open at the moment, and then the road ends there. That's it, the hedge is in the way, bringing it down. The road's coming right in, I still can't see properly around it. And now I can look through the bend underneath the trees and see it opens up. This one from local knowledge is terrible. This is the double apex, look, that's opening up. Great, I can go. No, I can't, look. It's coming back on itself. The double apex is actually more dangerous on the left hand bend, because here if I messed up, I'm just going to end up going off the road into a field. On the left hand bend, I could be going on the wrong side of the road into an oncoming car. So watching the limit points again, the speed I'm doing now is not a problem. I can still stop well within the distance I can see clear. Left hand bend coming up, limit point is holding steady. Now it's moving in, and now it's opening up. This is why they say stop well within the distance you can see to be clear, because you might not be able to judge. And also, if you bear in mind you're going onto a bad road surface, your braking might not be as efficient. I'm going to keep my speed down a little bit though, so I've got time to talk to you about these limit points. Again, look, brow of a hill or a humpback bridge, you can't see beyond it. So again, you need to make sure you can stop in that distance you can see clear. Okay, mirrors, I'm nice and clear here, bit of debris on the road. Now the limit point's coming into me quite severely, look, that's not moving at all. So I'm bringing my speed down now so that I can stop in the distance I can see clear. Now it's opening up and I can see the road coming round. So I'm lifting my head up and looking around the bend. I'm also looking over the trees there to give me an idea of the next bend, which could possibly be a left-hander. This is a long sweeper, this one is. Okay, now again the limit point is quite open. Now it's moving into me, and now it's opening again, look. So I'm looking around the corner, and little brow of a hill there, and a lorry and a van behind it, and a car behind that, and another vehicle behind that. Okay, so let's have another look at this limit point then. Telling me to slow, there's a warning. And also bear in mind these limit points are sometimes accompanied by other things. You've got reduced speed, you've got bends, you've got chevrons. There are 3 chevrons here, and you can see that limit point's coming right in. Looking around the corner. Wow, that is a tight one, isn't it? And then you can bring it open, limit point's coming in, so hold my speed steady. Look around, limit point's opening up. And out we go. Normally I would be getting myself into the middle of the road, but that van coming this way, there could be a car on the wrong side of the road, the limit point's very tight and I haven't got a view, so there's no real advantage to being out in the middle of the road. Apologies if I'm talking quicker, I'm trying to squeeze everything in and tell you everything. Very bad one here, look. Nice and tight, look around the bend, keep looking around, and then drive away nice and smoothly. It just gives you an earlier view, an earlier warning of what may be happening. But remember, don't 100% rely on it. You need to also take into account things like your road surface, your road condition, the weather conditions, the traffic. Also bear in mind, if you've got a car in front of you, he might not be able to read the bend as well as you. Well, I hope this has helped you a little bit. I'm going to be going into a little bit more detail on bends, and I'm going to be doing more of a commentary ride at a later stage. But for now, I just want you to practice your limit points. And I'd probably start practicing, if I was you, on some roads that you know. But also bear in mind, just because you know the severity of a bend doesn't mean that you know there's going to be a broken down car or there's going to be an idiot coming the wrong side of the road towards you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I've probably missed something out. I'll speak to you soon.